So, what is the status of women across the globe?
But there are certain countries, especially in the Middle East, where the women are looked as if property. In fact, one of the country has made a law wherein a woman is treated as a property.
This is objectification of
Yeah.
women.
And the husband has the power to hit her, cause physical injury
How
to such
traumatizing.
an extent, the only he would be answerable to the state only if the bone is broken or there is an open wound. So that means you go on hitting with a blunt object and she had nothing to say. She cannot say anything. This is, I think, pathetic. This is even bad than animals. Animals also don't give this kind of treatment to a female in their
This is dismal,
gender.
deplorable, pathetic, I
So,
think. Dear viewers, welcome to the Pod Show, Matter That Matters, with Dr. Deepak Mhaisekar. We cross paths with thousands of people in a lifetime, but hardly ever notice a lot of them. But there are a few like him who affect our outlook in an important way. And I'm absolutely privileged to have the multi splendored, multifaceted Dr. Deepak Mhaisekar on his show. Welcome to the show, sir.
thank
Dr. Deepak, you've had such an illustrious career. You worked as an advisor to the Chief Minister of Maharashtra. You worked as the Divisional Commissioner, Revenue Department. You worked as Municipal Commissioner, Nanded. You've held all top position in Maharashtra. So, my question is, how did you handle so much?
See, basically, in administration, that is what we are taught of how to deal with people, how to deal with their problems, and how try to resolve them. It need not be that 100% problems could be resolved, but we need to convince them that we are sincere enough in our efforts to resolve their problem. And that's what matters for a common man. If he's thinking that the administration is sincere and committed, then even if his problem is not resolved, he understands it.
Correct. Sir, this is a Women's Day special episode, and there is a woman behind every successful man. ऐसा कहते हैं कि हर सफल पुरुष के पीछे एक महिला का हाथ होता है। तो आपकी सफलता के पीछे किसका हाथ था?
मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि इसमें थोड़ा सा करेक्शन चाहिए कि केवल एक महिला का हाथ होना जरूरी नहीं है। हर इंडिविजुअल के लाइफ में कई महिलाएं अपना रोल निभाती है।
जी,
बचपन में वो माँ हो, बहनें हो, यंग एज में शायद प्रेमिका हो,
बिल्कुल।
and in married life it could be your wife, and then of course तुमच्या your daughters.
Correct.
And so the role of a woman in a man's life continues to be there. The role may differ, but it has a very clear-cut, demarcated role in everyone's life. To begin with, I would say it was my mother. Whatever I am today, or whatever I had been, it is her efforts, her total commitment and devotion in raising both of us. We are twins.
Oh,
And my mother was a teacher. The day I was born, she had gone to school, had come back, and the same night we two were born. And then I can understand raising a single child is how difficult it is. So, what must have been her efforts in raising us, two at a time, and especially so when I was the weaker of the two, and therefore was very frequently falling ill, for which she had to forgo her school. But the commitment and dedication that she showed in raising both of us, because my father was a principal, later on vice chancellor, so he hardly had any time for us. He was
Correct.
also a member of parliament.
I see.
So it was my mother who raised both of us, and of course, as I said, my both sisters. The elder sister, to whom I still consider as my another mother, and the younger sister, and they all played their role in shaping my life. Same way in college, we met some of my friends. And after marriage, of course, my wife, she has been the pivotal role in my life since last 38 years that we are married.
Your partner in crime.
Yes, she is my partner in all, whatever I did,
Yes.
good or bad. And she had been standing firmly behind me. And that's the reason she is taking the responsibility of the family as my mother used to take. And therefore, I could devote and give more time to the society and to my job. So, in my opinion, there cannot be a single woman in anyone's life. Many of them do play a role. Sometimes there are a few who shape your life and who the way take rare you that you become what you are in your life. But everybody's role is equally important. So on this Women's Day, I would like to thank all the women in the world who do play or who have played and are playing their role in different life.
How lovely.
Unfortunately, I don't have daughters. I have two sons. But my brother's daughters are equally as good as my daughters, and they do play the same role as my daughters would have played. So I'm fortunate that way. I'm fortunate enough to have so many women playing their role in my shaping my life.
Lovely. And you mentioned that your mother, especially, she's been your, torchbearer, your destiny shaper. She molded you, shaped into what you are today. And you mentioned your sister, you did not forget a single woman who left an indelible impact on your life.
True.
But these days we observe that feminism has become toxic. महिला सशक्तिकरण के बारे में हर कोई बात कर रहा है. There is something called second wave or third wave feminism, which is, particularly toxic. So, what is your opinion on this feminism overdose? Or feminazis. There is a word called feminazi, which is a combination of feminism and Nazism.
See, the society has seen so much of a change over a period of time.
Correct.
There were times when women were not looked upon. I'm not talking of the history, because in history, women always had a very high position.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you look at Hindu gods,
Yes.
you would never find a single individual Hindu god. There would be a wife accompanying him.
Yes.
May it be Lakshmi Narayan, may it be Ram Sita or Sita Ram as it is called.
Yes, Radha Krishna, Shiv
Radha
Parvati.
Krishna. So you hardly find any of them. But in the process of evolution or in the process, somewhere women were relegated to the past.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a very forward looking society. We know Maitreyi, we know Gargi.
Absolutely.
They were the teachers or masters in those days.
And so far ahead of their times, sir.
Correct.
Very, very empowered.
And apart from this, even we never had the so-called backward tradition of having burqa or anything.
Yes.
It was the invasion of foreigners, not to name one,
Yes.
that made the males in the society to ask them to take a burqa or parda.
Yes.
And as the things change, maybe after 8th March, we'll be having Savitribai Phule's Jayanti.
True.
She is the one who started teaching women.
Yes.
She is the one who took all the brunt of the society, but she never bothered. She continued her dedication and commitment to the cause of the women learning. And likewise, slowly the gradual process has come to a stage where women are almost equally doing well with a man.
Yes.
And to tell you importantly,
Yes, sir.
even in Western world, they did not have the franchise right, that is the right to vote. It was India wherein it was there. For in other countries, they had to wait a long till they got that right.
True.
But over a period of time, when they have become financially independent, they have become their own decision makers. As you said, some of them have crossed limit. I wouldn't say again, I will not say all of them, but very few of them. And that feminine narcissism, as you are talking of,
Yes.
that has
Yes.
come into play. But by and large, our society is very having all women who are committed, responsible to their family, and they continue to do so. In spite of becoming financially independent, they have not forgot their work or their commitment to their family, and they still continue to work for the same even after working for 8 to 12 hours in the office.
Correct. So you mentioned our scriptures. We've had heroines like, Sita and Draupadi. I call them heroines because Mahabharata is a treatise of life. Ramayana is a treatise of life. We can teach management lessons through Ramayana and Mahabharata today. Sita took every decision on her own. She chose to cross the Lakshman Rekha. She chose to live under the Ashok Vatika. Draupadi waged the Kurukshetra war. And yet, women in the 21st century feel that we are marginalized. I mean, we already have 33% reservation for women in the parliament. And yet, women are feeling marginalized. What is the reason behind this?
See, this is probably women's psyche.
Okay.
They are never marginalized. They are never. There may be some exceptions. Some societies, in some sections of society, it could be the. But by and large, when we talk of Indian women, they are equally independent.
Right.
And with changing times, since they became financially independent, their independence has grown further.
Right.
Draupadi or Sita, or for that matter, Ramayana and Mahabharata, they are the two different stories, or that we should say it is a history rather than mythology. It's not a mythology. It's a
It is
history.
history, yes.
It had happened in past. Ramayana showed what an individual, idealistic individual can be.
Maryada
Maryada
Purushottam.
Purushottam. On the contrary, Krishna is a person who will behave tit for tat.
Yes.
The way you behave with him, he would react the way. It said when Rama had gone for marriage in Janaka's place, he never knew there is going to be a marriage. He just participated in it,
The Swayamvar.
Swayamvar. And when the arrow broke down,
Yes.
Janak said, "You marry."
Yes.
He said, "I haven't told my father.
Correct.
So how can I?" He said, that what's wrong? Your father had 4 marriages. You can have one here, and after you go back, you can have another. But he said no.
Correct. Yes.
He had thought, if my father had 2 or 3 marriages, the second marriage must have traumatized my first mother, that is Kausalya.
Correct.
Though
So
she
empathetic.
may not have spoken out, and therefore I vow that I will not marry. I'll be ek patni vrata. This is very nicely narrated by Kumar Vishwas. When you listen to him, you will
Yes.
find he narrates about the incidences in Ramayana
Yes.
and Mahabharata. And therefore, the type of ladies that were depicted in Ramayana and Mahabharata are different types. You find Urmila there,
Yes. Who's waiting
who
for her
waiting for
husband.
her husband, who had
14
gone
years.
along with Ram.
And
There are
everyone is so duty bound in
Yes,
Ramayana.
everybody is duty bound.
Duty bound.
She continued to be there. Same thing, Bharat's wife. Because after Ram left, Bharat never stayed in the capital.
Yes.
He used to go out and stay somewhere in
He ruled
austerity.
from Nandigram.
So, then she also chose the same life path.
Correct.
So that was the commitment of the women or the wives towards their husband. Over a period of time, things have changed, morals have changed.
Correct.
We don't expect that kind of commitment or that kind of a dedication or devotion or sacrifice.
Correct.
But what we must understand is both need to understand each other,
Yes.
the husband and wife. They need to have a mutual respect. They need to have a commitment towards each other. And that is what, over a period of time, is lacking, especially in the next generations.
Absolutely. Can't agree more. And Ram is held responsible for Sita's, abandonment into the forest. But people fail to understand that there is a difference between Ram the king and Ram the husband. And I think, corruption is a deep rooted menace that has eaten into the vitals of the society. It has distorted all moral values. It has made a mincemeat of morality, truth, and wisdom. And now, Dr. Deepak, the evil has grown into gigantic proportions. And there's hardly any sphere of human activity which is free from deception and corruption. And still, the politicians and bureaucrats talk about Ram Rajya. And you've held high positions everywhere. How do you deal with all this? How do you deal with corruption? How do you deal with shunting out, being shunted out?
See, corruption is a thing about which now people would not like to talk because they have taken it as a part of their life rather than fighting for it or talking about it.
Correct.
In government service also, we would come across and we had come across such instances. But as long as the officer is committed to a common man, I don't think anything can change his way of thinking and his way of looking at the problems of the common society.
Right.
And though corruption cannot be totally ruled out, whatever me as an individual can do to reduce it, I cannot stop it. I know nobody is competent enough to do that now.
Absolutely.
But whatever minimize I could do, I tried to and will continue to.
Wonderful. Sir, which posting did you enjoy the most?
I think my posting as Municipal Commissioner Nanded,
Okay.
because the challenges were too many and too many challenges in stipulated time to be completed. That's what it was, a race against time. It was completion of the work to be done. And I would prefer challenges during my service tenure, and I did have many. Though it's not a pleasant experience, nor a good experience, but challenging COVID times when I was divisional commissioner was also equally remembering, or what I should say, not a good context, but definitely a challenging times that we had. A type of disease that had come after almost 100 years.
Yes,
So
indeed.
it was very challenging times. I recollect, same as in Nanded. Even in my tenure as Pune Divisional Commissioner, I used to work for almost 18 hours a day.
18 hours?
Yes. Night
My
I used to
goodness.
sleep by 12, 12:30. Morning 6, 6:30 I used to get ready. So if the times are challenging, one has to accept it and give your best out of it. And
Correct.
that's what I tried.
Wonderful. So you mentioned Nanded. Nanded is a part of, Marathwada region. And did you come across empowered women in Marathwada region? What was your experience like? Were men supportive of women in Marathwada? Because everyone talks about Vidarbha, and I think you held a very high position in Nagpur as well. You were at the helm of NMC.
NIT.
NIT. Yeah,
Nagpur
Nagpur
Improvement.
Improvement Trust. Yes. So, what was the difference between emancipation of women in Vidarbha region versus emancipation of women in Marathwada region?
See, as far as Marathwada is concerned, I started my career in Marathwada only.
Yeah.
I was working in district panchayats, and due to progressive steps of the then CM, Sharad Pawarji, women reservation had started in Panchayat Raj.
Oh.
That was, we are talking of maybe around 92, 91, 92. Soon after, we took the initiative. I mean, Maharashtra took the initiative. The 73rd and 74th constitutional amendment ensured that there is a reserved seats for women in Panchayat Raj. But we were the pioneers. We started it. And then when I was working in district panchayat, especially in rural areas,
yes,
the mentality was not progressive to accept that change. There were certain seats of sarpanch, or for that matter, chairperson of the panchayat samitis, and of course, district panchayat, were reserved for women. I recollect a story, when not exactly story, the facts that had happened. There was a particular village panchayat where all the ladies were women. I mean, all the members were ladies or women. And the sarpanch was also a woman.
How amazing.
So I was told that I should visit that panchayat. And intentionally, I did visit that panchayat without informing. To my utter surprise, all the husbands of the women elected members were conducting the meeting, and they were playing the second role, the women. So the progressive step of handing over power to women did come in on paper, yes, but actually it wasn't handed over. And we had to conduct a lot of trainings of the women elected representatives to ensure that they know what their rights are. They know what their powers are.
Privileges are. Yeah.
And of course, it did not change overnight, and what neither we did expect it.
Correct.
But things have changed a lot over a period of time. After 20, 25 years, we are finding women independently conducting their meetings, independently taking decisions. And they do ask officers how this particular decision is going to impact the women's
Right.
in the district or in the area in which they are operating. I think that transition has already occurred, and now we have come to a stage where we can say that women are truly the leaders and they are the ones who are shaping the destiny of that particular uh, urban body or local body which they head.
Correct. Dr. Deepak, we've observed that women are financially independent now. Is this aspect responsible for the increase in divorce rate? Because these days, we even during the pandemic, we saw that people were marrying on Saturday, remarrying on Monday, again divorcing on Tuesday. What the hell is happening? I mean, why? What is the reason behind all this? Divorce has risen to gigantic proportions.
Yes, it's a fact that divorce is increasing. Even in Indian society, it is increasing day by day, maybe 10%, 15%, the statistics will tell.
Yes.
But I don't think only financial independence of the women is the reason behind it.
Right.
Human being as a whole, may it be a boy or may it be a girl, we have not been taught or have been uh, from the young age to be more accommodative. You need to accommodate. A girl has to accommodate her husband, and her husband has to accommodate his wife. Unfortunately, that is deteriorating everywhere in all sectors of the society. It's not only husband-wife relation. You find so much of violence.
Yes.
Spontaneously at a traffic signal, you find people quarreling, irrespective of whether it is a man or woman, two men
and using
quarreling.
Foul invective as well.
Yes, and going to the physical level.
Yes.
Whereas somewhere we are making a generation as Generation Z, they are called
Gen
as.
Zs.
They are not at all accommodative. They don't want to listen to the opposite view of a story. Every story could have two views, but they would like to hear about it. And therefore, they won't like if husband behaves in a certain way, the girl doesn't like it.
Yes.
And vice versa. If the girl behaves in a, or if she has her own stand on a particular subject, the male ego of husband will not allow him to accept it.
True.
And vice versa. So that's becoming a problem, and I am afraid that we are coming to a stage where probably the belief in the institution of marriage may not be there.
Yes.
And that is what is rocking.
Mm-hmm.
Already we are talking of having live-in
relationships. They've become very common now.
So the basic concept or the basic foundation on which the marriage as an institution has been built is being shaken.
You nailed it, Dr. Deepak, because I keep talking to Gen Z kids. Being a professor of language literature, we have a lot of group discussions, and one kid just got up and said, "My marriage is a dead concept." So I was flabbergasted. Yes. Marriage is a dead concept. So because marriage brings two families together, and for them, individual is more important than institution.
Correct.
So this has become a culture shock for the previous generation. They're not able to cope with the temper tantrums, anger issues. So how do we sort this out?
This is happening not only in marriage as an institution, it is happening in society as a whole.
Right.
As I said, you talked about corruption
yes.
brief time ago. There is a corruption everywhere.
True, sir.
It's in bureaucracy, it's in politics, anything.
It's all pervasive.
And why it is there? Because we all are a product of the society, the same society. And if the society itself is losing its values and morals, it would be reflected in whichever stream of life you are into. Whether it is politician or whether it is administrator or whether it is a worker, everywhere, everyone wants a fast gain without exerting much. Secondly, our family system is collapsing.
True.
There was a time when we had joint families. Even if the parents were busy in work, the grandparents used to imbibe the values, the moral values on the child.
Yes.
The joint family almost disintegrated. We went ahead with the extended family. Because of compulsion, if one of the parents dies, the other one would live with the children.
Yes.
Slowly that has gone. Now we have a nuclear family. And as you rightly said, now we are coming to a stage of individualistic family.
Yes.
We don't want anyone else in our life. We are content with what we are. We are happy with what we are. We don't want anyone to encroach my personal space, even if it is my wife or my husband. To that stage have we gone. And this will ruin this society ultimately.
Yes.
No family system, no belief in marriage institution. Where are we going? We don't know. There would be children who are born out of illicit relationship, no parenthood, nothing. And where are we going in that? And time has come. Everybody needs to think about it. There are issues of children.
Yes.
On the other hand, we have issues of old age people.
Yes.
Gerontology, as we call it.
Yes, yes.
We will soon have more than 40% of our population which will not be earning. And they would be dependent on someone.
True.
Do we have a social system which will take care of them? And social system doesn't mean only their physical care. Physical care could be taken with some vridhashram or something else. It's their emotional needs.
True.
It's their needs at that stage of life when we expect someone dear and near one to us to be with us. And if they don't have one, we may have another crisis in society.
Yes.
So on one hand, the children would be missing their grandparents. On the other hand, the grandparents would be missing their grandchildren.
Right.
So we need to think about it. We need to ponder on it.
Yes, sir. Dr. Deepak, I had one question lingering in the mind. When we talk to the generation next, Gen Z kids, and if we give them tips on how to conduct themselves, if we try to guide them, if we make an endeavor to shape their lives, they don't like it. If we motivate them, to appear for UPSC, MPSC exams, they don't like it. And they tell me these days that, we want to be influencers, YouTubers, gamers. But, being a teacher, I tried telling them that, very few people manage to carve a niche for themselves in these fields. It's risky. But they don't want to appear for, these exams because, you have to put yourself in the grind. You have to put in your indefatigable efforts. I mean, being an officer yourself, you had to put in arduous efforts to get there. From Mumbai Veterinary College to being an Indian administrative officer, holding positions. It's not been a cakewalk. You have to work hard for it. How would you inspire the youth? How would you streamline their lives?
See, I think we better not try to streamline their life.
Okay.
This had been telling my students when I was in college as lecturer, and even to my own kids.
Mhm.
Whatever in life they want to become, that is their choice.
Sure.
Which field they want to choose is their choice. What I would expect is, whichever field they choose, may it be sports, may it be music, may it be administration, may it be something business, try to be at the top of the
Yes.
that particular field of the life.
Excel in what they do.
And most important, in doing so, they shouldn't forget that they are a human being.
Yes.
And they should behave like a proper human being. So they must have all that empathy for a common man or a man suffering, may it be old, young, or whatever. They should not hesitate to extend their hand if it is required by someone else.
Yes.
And therefore, whether they want to become an IAS officer, whether they want to become an administrative officer is their choice. As far as Maharashtra is concerned, Maharashtra is economically progressed state.
Yes.
And therefore, the youths have multiple opportunities. Need
Yes.
not necessarily be only administrative services. It could be in private sector, it could be in some business sector or some other sector. Probably this may not be the story as far as the other backward or comparatively backward. I wouldn't say any state as backward. Maybe Bihar, Jharkhand, where
Yes.
probably the private industry is yet to grow. The private industry is yet to establish, or even if it has grown, it has not been able to absorb the number of people or number of students or number of youths from that area.
True.
And for them, probably the only option remains, if they are to excel in their life, to go for administrative services.
Right.
And therefore, over a period of time, the number of Maharashtrians appearing for the UPSC had gone down. Fortunately, we are seeing now a reverse trend, and there are many students from Maharashtra who are trying to appear for the administrative services. Unfortunately, even in, as I said, in political field, there is a reservation for women even in employment, and therefore they are getting a better opportunity.
Right.
The women also will have a better opportunity in terms of education as well as employment.
That's awesome. So we talked about administrative services. We talked about various opportunities in the private sector. Now the next thing that needs what one calls mind churning is what is success. We all teach our kids how to be successful. Do we teach them how to fail? Because even suicides are on the increase. Petty sundry matter, and the child commits suicides and ruins the parents' life as well. Is it important to teach our kids how to handle failure? Even even our schools and colleges, don't teach kids what happens when you fail. We
See,
all fail. We all face this at some point.
yes, we need to tell them. Whenever I get an opportunity, I do speak about it.
Mhm.
I was never a topper in my school life, neither in my college life. I used to be amongst top 10, but never a topper. Let me frankly admit it. But I don't think I have not achieved what I would have dreamed of or what I would have thought of. So, academic excellence is something different,
Mm.
and being successful in your life is something different.
True.
Again, I would quote Kumar Vishwas because I'm very fond of him. I keep hearing.
Yes, yes.
He talks what is success. If somebody asks you, have you succeeded in your life? if your absence matters to society, you are successful.
Mm.
And if your absence doesn't matter to society, then whatever you have done in your life, you may not be called successful.
Mm.
Because what have you given to the society from where you have come up? So that is what is important. And therefore, मराठीमध्ये म्हणतात आपल्याकडे की तुम्ही मेल्यावर कमीत कमी 11 जण रडले पाहिजे. वाय रडले पाहिजे, अमूक पाहिजे.
रडले
It's
पाहिजेत.
not, it's not a question of रडले पाहिजे. That indirectly that proverb means that you were useful for society and therefore people are crying for you.
तुमचं योगदान काय होतं?
या याच्यामध्ये तुम्ही काय कॉन्ट्रीब्यूट केलं,
बरोबर आहे.
तुम्ही सोसायटीसाठी काय केलं, आणि त्याच्यामुळे आज सोसायटीला असं वाटतंय की यू शुडंट हॅव लेफ्ट. And that is what matters, I think.
Yes.
At the end of the day, when we talk of our review of our life, or everybody has his family, everybody has his children, everybody survives in life. But ultimately, what have I given to society?
Yes.
That is, one should introspect. And if you think you have given something to society, then your life is successful and meaningful. But if you can't recollect what have you done for society, then probably somewhere something has went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And if time permits, you may rectify it.
Correct. So do you think the world needs more encouragers than critics? How did you handle criticism in your life?
See, it's a human tendency. I would not blame anyone, including me.
Correct.
I may not be the one who would encourage or who would appreciate everything that is done before me. And many of the people are the same way they behave.
Mm-hmm.
There are very few who would appreciate for every work that you have done. But even to going to that extent, in my opinion, I may be wrong,
Right.
it turns out to be flattery. Everything, whatever you do, you say it's very well done. That's flattery.
Yeah. That's not
If
encouragement.
That's not encouragement. But if someone does it really good,
Yes.
I do appreciate.
Right.
I do take a note of it, and I do say, yes, whatever you have done has made the difference. Whatever you have contributed has changed the way it would have been done. And that's what matters. But yes, there are a lot of critics, because for criticism, it's very easy to criticize.
It is. It is.
But to encourage, okay, you say what you are doing is wrong, but tell us an alternative how it should be done. Then I would appreciate that kind of criticism, because he is showing an alternative way of doing the same things in a better way.
True. I agree.
But that is what is important. आणि मराठीमध्ये म्हटलं ते निंदकाचं घर असावं आपल्या घरा शेजारी.
बरोबर आहे.
The more the people criticize, the more you have chances of correcting yourself.
So you should be happy that people are, jealous of you. People are criticizing you. Negative publicity is also publicity, isn't it?
Yes, I never bothered what. But yes, I did introspect. When they said कि sir ये थोड़ा गलत हो गया, I would introspect.
Okay.
And maybe in some cases I would find that yes, I did wrong. I would try to rectify myself.
Right.
But yes, the critics are required. So are the
for your own
encouragers.
betterment, maybe.
For your encouragers. Generally, we call it in administration positive strokes and negative strokes.
Negative strokes, correct.
If somebody is not doing his work, we need to give him a negative stroke. Otherwise, सब घोड़े 12% हो गए तो कोई मतलब ही नहीं, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन चलेगा नहीं.
बराबर है.
So
because we don't want sycophants there.
Yes, I would prefer to be called as a tough administrator than a very good man. Because very good human being doesn't have any point, because if it doesn't serve a common man, what is the use of me being good?
Correct.
But if I'm a tough and that's going to give someone benefit, a common man benefit, I would prefer to be called as a tough man rather than a good man.
Very well said. In fact, someone has rightly said tough times do not last long, but tough people do.
Correct.
And I think, that's very important. Sir, you mentioned Kumar Vishwas twice. This shows that, you've been watching YouTube, you've been watching, you are quite active on Instagram and, social media as well. Do you read the nasty comments below the video? We all talked about criticism, and the comments are so nasty. Some comments are posted in a bad taste. Women particularly have to face a lot of criticism, and waspish, venomous, malignant comments are written. So what is your opinion about this? In a person who are they just writing and posting comments without getting the message from the video? What is happening? There's something called cyberbullying also.
See, sometimes you do find that there are people in the society who are pervert.
Correct.
They would be going on commenting anything. If you are to go ahead in your life, you have to ignore them. Unless they are coming to a point wherein they are likely to harm you personally or physically. Otherwise, the best policy is to ignore them. Because if there are 10 who are admiring you, there could be 2 who will be talking something bad about it. Now, if you start engaging with them, then you are not likely to go any further in your life.
Right.
You may stop at that step only because you will be wasting your time in contracting them because they don't have any other job. They would continue to comment on whatever
Idle
you
mind
say.
is the devil's workshop, it is like.
So best way is to ignore them.
Correct.
And just go ahead. Because if at all you are to achieve something in your life, yes, but if you think they are likely to be in your future threat to you in physically or in any other sense, then definitely you need to take an appropriate legal action.
Yes.
And counter them. But otherwise, just ignore them.
Right.
Ignorance is the best way.
Ignorance is bliss.
Bliss. People, why do they put that comment? They want attention to be paid to them. And if you ignore them, their comment doesn't have any value.
Correct. Because this is attention-seeking behavior. Absolutely.
True.
So once Ratan Tata rightly said, ups and downs in life are very important because a straight line in an ECG shows we are not alive. So do you think trials and tribulations, turbulent times have steeled you in life?
Yes. You cannot, as you said, if a straight line is there.
Yes.
After I left my college where I was working as lecturer, for 2 years I was unemployed.
Oh, okay.
See, that itself gives you a lot of strength and courage to. People would come, "Arey, what are you doing?" "Nothing." I said, "Nothing." Then they would come to me, "What do you plan to do?" I said, "I have certain plans." But this, because as you said, the society is such that they would like to ask you a question, and because of your sadness or sorrow, they enjoy it. Sometimes
sadistic
behavior.
Yes.
But after 2 years, I joined the Operation Flood. I started my career afresh. And those 2 years of gap were because of some medical reason for which I was operated. But after 2 months, haven't you recovered? What are you going to do? My parents never wanted me to go back to Mumbai as lecturer again. So I had to find out something else. And in everybody's life, such situations will come, ups and downs will come. You have to thrive through it. You have to sell through it. And once you sell through it, you would come upright. There would be people who may encourage you. There would be people, some who may support you. There would be people who will criticize you.
Yes.
you have to try your best and go ahead. And same thing happens in every field, may it be service, business, or whatever. You would be having ups and downs of the life, and unless they are there, the life will not have any meaning. Because if it's a all rosy picture, then probably you would not realize what the rosy picture means.
Yes.
If it's all at a down level, then probably you would never know what are the happiness of the life are. So happiness as well as sorrowfulness is a mix of two will make your life. And that is what is important. And
True.
then only you enjoy your life. And then only you think you have lived your life.
Correct.
Otherwise, it would be a plateau.
Correct. Absolutely. I agree with you. I think I read this beautiful story about Ulysses, who was a king of Ithaca and who participated in the Trojan War, which was fought for 20 years. And in one of his poems called Tennyson has written a poem called Ulysses, in which he says, "I will drink life to the lees." And I think you not only drank life to the lees, but you traveled in realms of gold. तुम्ही प्रवास पण बराच केला असणार आहे.
Yes, प्रवास केलाय. आणि again, I would come back to same story. Whatever my life has been shaped, प्रवास आणि हे सगळं तर आहेच.
बरोबर
पण
आहे.
बेसिकली सगळ्यात महत्वाचं जे संस्कार माझ्यावर झालेत माझ्या आई वडिलांकडे,
बरोबर आहे.
both were in teaching sector.
Yeah.
And whatever I am today, or for that matter, whatever we four sister and brothers are today, the whole credit goes to them.
True.
Special to my mother.
Right.
They are the one who shaped our life. They are the one who ensured that we excel in life. And they were very progressive in nature.
Yes.
In 1948, my father had an intercaste marriage.
One year after independence. This is
Yes.
1948 you're talking about. Oh.
And I'm proud that we all four siblings have intercaste marriages, interfaith marriages.
This is exactly what Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar wanted. He encouraged intercaste marriages.
Every spouse in our family
Yes.
is belonging to different state, different language, and different faith.
Very diverse.
Diverse.
Yes.
We are just like representing India.
Yes, absolutely. So how did veterinary medicine happen? I mean, who encouraged you, motivated you to take up veterinary medicine? Because when I saw Mumbai Veterinary College there, I was surprised. So,
see, frankly admitting, it was not my first choice. I must admit that.
Okay.
My first choice would have been medicine.
Medicine.
But circumstances so went, about which I have written in my autobiography,
right,
that I had to opt for veterinary. The entrance exam were declared. There was a political changeover after Janta government came in power. And the new CM cancelled that policy. He said no entrance. It would be on the basis of marks obtained in 12th science.
Oh.
And so I had no other option. I had the only option of repeating again, wasting my 1 year, and then trying for medicine. Instead, I chose the second option, the veterinary. And I went into veterinary, but I never have any guilt about it, because I would have probably done the same thing even if I had gone to medicine. So it hardly matters for me whether I was a veterinary postgraduate or I would have otherwise been. As it is, I am writing Dr. Deepak, so it would have been again Dr. Deepak only. Whether it's a veterinary or human medicine, it hardly matters for me.
Dr. Deepak, is it important to take the road less traveled by? Does it make a difference?
Yes, it does. There may be some problem on that road.
Mm-hmm.
But when very few people are walking on it, then there is likely to be very less crowd on it. And the less crowd Pune people know better than anyone else what congestion means and what traffic problem means.
Right.
So the lesser the people are,
Mhm.
the more you have chances of achieving your goal faster than anyone else. So it's
Right.
always better to take a road which is less traveled. And therefore, in my career, there is hardly any part of the state where I have not served. May it be Chandrapur
Mhm.
and Nagpur in Vidarbha, may it be Konkan, may it be Marathwada, may it be North Maharashtra, may it be any part of the state I have worked, and that gave me exposure to the state culture and the ways. Because as I said, was coming from a family where probably I would have never come across this kind of exposure, because both of
Right.
them being professor and lecturers,
Teachers. Yes.
teacher, I never had to leave a particular place. So I was very well in my childhood. In fact, I would say I was more uh, in a comfort zone, my comfort zone. Coming out of it probably started when I went for my education to Mumbai.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I would have been in my comfort zone. Going to Mumbai gave me exposure to adversities. For the first time in my life, I left my home, and that was the exposure that taught me everything. And those who knew me from childhood, they say you are transformed after you went to Mumbai.
Right.
Till then, I was a very shy introvert, would never speak out, would
Really?
never discuss anything with anyone. Very shy and very introvert. But Mumbai gave me that exposure and
Right.
changed my personality in total.
Right. Sir, you worked with a lot of chief ministers. You mentioned, Vasant Dada Patil when we got talking the other day. You mentioned Sharad Pawar ji. You mentioned, you worked with Uddhav Thackeray. So, whose tenure did you like the most?
No, I think there is nothing liking anyone's tenure. To tell you frankly, Vasant Dada Patil I only met once or twice, and
Right.
that too as a student leader. In fact, we have Gerard in.
Right. Right. Oh.
Sharad Pawar ji,
Mhm.
also I did not work directly under him,
Mhm.
though of course we had an interaction when I was divisional commissioner.
Divisional commissioner, yes.
But I did work with 4 or 5 chief ministers,
Yes.
and from everyone I learned a different aspect. Punctuality from someone,
Correct.
the administrative humanship from someone,
Strategy?
strategy, of course. Everybody has its own way of working.
Correct.
But one thing was for sure that everybody that I've worked with worked for the common people.
Hmm.
They had that common person in their mind whenever they were taking any decision. And I tried to be as honest as possible. Sometimes they liked my advice, sometimes they didn't. But after all, it was their call. I was supposed to only advise them. I was not supposed to take a decision on behalf of them.
Right.
So, whatever I felt right, I told them. Whatever they felt right, they did it.
And this shows that you've always called a spade a spade. You've always been straightforward.
Yes, that is the way I work. Sometimes people like it, sometimes people don't like it. But I'm very clear in my mind that I have done my job. What
Right.
for government had paid me. I did advise them the way I should have. Now, whether they accepted it or not, it was their call.
True. But integrity of life has been very important for you because, after
Yes,
all, integrity of life is fame's best friend. And
integrity
your
of life.
conscience is absolutely clear.
Yes, commitment to the work, commitment to the cause for which I'm working, for which I'm carrying out my work.
Right.
That is what matters most.
You worked for a cause, not for applause.
Of course, That's the way.
So I think we had a very, very intellectually stimulating conversation. And I'm so glad our paths crossed. I'm sure, you have left an indelible impact on the viewers. And also, today we're celebrating International Women's Day. So, my last question would be, what's your message for the women of the 21st century?
I think I'm not that big a person to give a message,
That's
but
very humble of you.
I would expect every woman to be as committed and as understanding and as cooperative and adjusting as my mother was. She did whatever she could under the circumstances. Women of today are more liberal, more economically independent. But one thing they need to, and now why I only women, everyone, if the family system and if the society is to continue, there will have to be some adjustment, there will have to be some compromises. But at the end of it, you will realize the compromises that you did, the commitment that you showed, किंवा तुम्ही जो त्याग केलाय त्या त्यागातनच तुम्हाला स्वतःला आनंद मिळेल.
बरोबर आहे.
आणि तो आनंद लॉंग लास्टिंग राहील, forever राहील, and there will not be any reason for. Nowadays we see many people undergoing depression, mental issues.
Yes.
If at all one has to overcome those, this is what is required. Some adjustment from both, again, I'm repeating it, not only the women, everyone. It could be boy or girls, both spouses, they will have to compromise, adjust. And rather than coming to a conclusion that we are unable to compromise or adjust with each other, give it a try. And you will realize the world is much, much better than just changing your paths and getting separate.
Absolutely. And sir, going back to Ramayana is a story of sacrifice after all. Each and every character in Ramayana teaches us the significance of sacrifice. But I think, we've forgotten our, moral values, the value system on which, our Indian society is based.
Correct.
Because Macaulay's history is being dumped on us. We're studying world wars, we're studying French Revolution, Russian Revolution, but for us, Ramayana and Mahabharata are just, sheer mythology.
See, Ramayana and Mahabharata have been told to us as mythologies, which probably they are not. Yes. We do know that over a period of time, there must have been some stories added to it, especially during the Bhagavatism period.
Right.
But that does not mean whatever the original Ramayana and Mahabharata is totally false or totally fabricated. Otherwise, we would not have Ramayana. It's seen even in South, it's seen in North, it's seen in East, and they are written by different people.
Different people, yes.
But the crux of the issue remains the same: ideal or Purushottam Ram.
Correct.
And when we talk of Krishna, he is the one who teaches you the way you should mend your life.
Correct.
The way you should adjust to the life. So probably in the present context, we should try to be Ram.
In personal life, maybe.
Yes.
Ram in personal life and Krishna in political life.
Political or public life.
Correct.
That is the way one has to behave.
Yes.
And that only will make you, if not ideal, at least ideal for your family, if not for society.
Correct.
And that is what matters. That is what is important.
Absolutely, sir. So you mentioned Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna considered Draupadi to be his Sakhi. Many people feel शिशुपाल एपिसोड नंतर जेव्हा तिने तिचा पदर कापून कृष्णाच्या बोटावर लावलं तेव्हा म्हणतात की ते रक्षाबंधनचं महत्व आहे एटसेट्रा, पण ते तसं नाहीये. शी वॉज कृष्णाज सखी. द्वापर युग मध्ये आपण हे ऍक्सेप्ट करायचो, पण 21st सेंचुरी मध्ये सुद्धा ऑपोजिट सेक्स फ्रेंडशिप्स are not considered to be appropriate. People gossip about it. Either you have to be a wife or you have to be a sister. If you are just a friend, then it is misinterpreted. आणि मेंटॅलिटीला चेंज करणं जसं आपण आधी बोललो फारच डिफिकल्ट आहे.
It's a altogether different subject, probably not a part of this podcast or
Yes.
Because we are talking of totally different type of personalities.
Yes.
We had never discussed about homosexuality. We had never discussed about lesbianship.
Yes.
We have never discussed about transgenderism.
Yes.
But these are the issues of future.
Correct.
Earlier, as you said, a male and a female can have any other relationship than a lover or a loving. एक तो हम उसको कहते थे कि ये तो बहन भाई है, या तो फिर हस्बैंड वाइफ है, या तो प्रेमिका और प्रेमी है
जी.
ये तीनों को छोड़ के कोई और नजरिया हमारे पास ही नहीं था, और उसी एंगल से हम देखते हैं. देयर कैन बी इक्वल good friendship as can be between two men. It can be also between a man and a woman.
And a woman. Yes.
We are yet to absorb it. We are yet to accept it. Yes, but we are slowly moving in that direction. And the society will accept it soon.
Right. So still, we need to discuss a lot of topics, but then one podcast is not enough for all the marginalized sections of society, LGBTQ.
Correct.
And other relationships. So I think that's another podcast altogether. So what is the status of women across the globe? You're widely traveled. You've been quite a globetrotter. So what have you observed?
See, on one hand, we are saying in Western world, women are becoming more progressive, more economically independent, and have a major role to play in the decision making.
Right.
But there are certain countries, especially in the Middle East, where the women are looked as if a property. In fact, one of the country has made a law wherein a woman is treated as a property.
This is objectification of women.
And the husband has the power to hit her, cause physical injury.
How traumatizing.
To such an extent, he would be answerable to the state only if the bone is broken or there is an open wound. So that means you go on hitting with a blunt object, and she would have nothing to say. She cannot say anything. So whatever morals in the society are there, they are only for the woman, not for the human mains. Mains would be, and this is, I think, pathetic. This is even bad than animals. Animals also don't give this kind of treatment to a female in their
This is dismal,
gender.
Deplorable, pathetic, I think. Bestiality.
So are we progressing or are we regressing? Are we moving forward or are we moving backward? Even if you go backward, probably never in the history had this kind of a treatment given to a woman.
True.
But there are certain societies wherein this kind of treatment is not only given but accepted by the society and state. And that is what we need to. Talking of women liberation and women, what are we doing and what are we capable of doing in these such kind of countries where women are treated like an object and a property?
Yes.
So their situation is even worse than an animal.
But are they so meek and submissive? Because we have seen women like Malala who took up cudgels against the system.
Leave apart anything else, the example of the present Iran.
Yes.
Just take out the pictures of women from Iran in 70s. They are looking as modern as you or anyone else is. But what is their situation as of today? And this is happening across the globe under various names. Not to name a particular faith, but this has been happening and this is happening. So we need to, when we are talking of International Women's Day today, we need to also identify these sectors of the society or the countries of the world where women live apart, being treated as an equal to a male or equal to a man. At least are they treated like a human beings?
True.
And that is what is important.
Sir, law is in women's favor, but women themselves refrain from availing of the law which is written in their favor. Why that? For example, if a woman is raped, the law won't spare the criminal, the wrongdoer. Similarly, if a bride is burnt, female infanticide, none of it is accepted in the court of law. But women themselves are not aware, maybe not aware of the law which is in their favor, or they're not taking up cudgels against the crime.
They are not aware, I don't think so. They are aware, but the way society treats them. We have seen time and again, it has been shown in movies and otherwise, how a woman who is raped is being questioned or treated in a court of law. So it's a double trauma for her. The trauma
Right.
she had already undergone,
Right.
and by asking the questions which indirectly hints that she is at fault, she is the one who encouraged the other person to commit a rape against her. So, and in spite of going into court of law, in many cases, it's not proved. On some or
Right.
the other pretext, by a well-paid lawyer, he would ensure that the criminal comes out of it
Gets away scot-free.
scot-free. And then what the woman has, she has already lost whatever she was to lose. And after this torturous legal battle, nothing has come in her hand, in spite of the fact that everyone knows who has committed the rape. He still survives in the society, and she is the one who is blamed. And that's the reason. This is equally applicable for dowry death, it is equally applicable for rape, it is equally applicable for any crime
That is committed
that
against a
can be
woman.
committed against a woman. And therefore, the best, and again I would come back to the same thing, what moral values we calculate in our young generation.
Right.
If a mother tells his son that any other woman than the one who are going to marry should be looked at as if she is your mother's sister. The best example is of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj.
Absolutely.
You
He
know
was
what
an
happened in
empowered.
Kalyan.
Yeah.
The daughter-in-law of Kalyan, Subedar, was brought to him.
Yes.
He just looked at her for a second and immediately looked down. And he only uttered two words, had my mother been as beautiful as you, I would have also been that beautiful. And he ensured that she goes back to her parents and her in-laws with honor. Do we have that kind of a people? Or Ranjas Patil, to whom he had cut his both legs and hand, who had committed a rape.
Yes.
That was Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj.
He
So-
did not spare the criminals.
And why did Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj develop that way? It is Jizau.
Yes.
She, from the beginning itself, told her the stories of Ramayana, Mahabharata, and whatever the best are there, and ensured that his persona becomes that kind of a persona which will respect each and every woman.
True.
And do we have that type of a commitment? Do we have that kind of a society commitment in raising our children? Not to blame anyone, but the parents are equally happy in watching TV soap,
Yes.
whatever they are going
Soaps,
on.
TV soaps, and Netflix.
TV soaps, Netflix, and other things. They hardly have any time to give for their children to tell them what is maybe mythology, maybe history, maybe some. It need not necessarily be Ramayana Mahabharata. It could be Isap Niti.
Yes.
It could be
Aesop's
Tenali
fables,
Rama
yeah.
stories.
Correct.
Need not necessarily be historical or these Dharma Granthas. Whatever are there, Isap Niti has nothing to do with India. But it tells you so many moral stories.
Correct.
So that is what is required. And that is what is important for the next generation's upbringing.
We teach our daughters what to wear. We teach them, wear a salwar kameez, carry a dupatta, keep your, bust covered, etc. Do the mothers teach their sons how to look at women, how to respect them?
Unfortunately, that doesn't happen. That is what we call gender
We make
bias.
movies like Satcha at Gharat. Is the man taught that, society is unsafe for you as well?
That is what we call it gender bias.
Gender bias, yes. Yes.
Generally, in any family, the girl is told, or the मराठीमध्ये आपण म्हणतोय पोरासारखी काय फिदफिदी हसत बसली,
हो.
किंवा मुलाला म्हणतो मुलीसारखा काय रडत बसला.
हो, त्याला बायला म्हणतात तो रडला की.
Indirectly in his mind, it is set up that it is the only girls who are supposed to cry, not you.
Social conditioning मुळे.
It is, the girl is told that you are not supposed to laugh in public, but controlled.
Yes.
But boy doing that is acceptable. So we are conditioning the children in such a way that they developed with a gender bias over a period of time.
True.
We don't expect the girls to play. Now things have changed again, as I said. There was a time, maybe 25 years down the line, or before, when we were, there were hardly any girls we were seeing playing cricket.
Yes.
Or playing any other game.
True.
What they would play is something different. The games which were supposed to be played by only girls, that they used to
Which is
play.
like toy utensils.
Yes, whatever.
Even today, when we go for birthday parties, मुलाचा birthday असेल तर त्याला गन द्यायची, कार द्यायची, आणि मुलीचा birthday असेल तर तिला बाहुली द्यायची.
Yes, it's true.
आपण कधी डॉल्स हाऊस मधून परत येणार आहोत? Because this is a regressive mentality.
This is what we call gender bias.
Yes.
This is what we call gender differentiation.
Discrimination.
And unknowingly, we imbibe that in our next generation.
Unknowingly.
Which we shouldn't be doing.
Right.
मुलीला स्वयंपाक आलाच पाहिजे, पोराला नाही आला तर चालेल. मुलीनी स्वयंपाक केलाच पाहिजे, तिला कपडे धुता आले पाहिजे, तिला भांडी धुता आले पाहिजे.
सर, तुम्हाला असं वाटतं का की आपण लेबरला पण गृहीत धरतो भारतात? बिकॉज you can easily afford a maid here, but the same fellow who's never cooked cooks for his wife in the US.
Has to.
Yeah, he has
There
no
is no other
choice.
option.
What can't be cured has to be endured with a smile.
He can't. No one can afford a cook there.
Cook there, yes.
Only probably billionaire or millionaire maybe they could. But otherwise, everything you have to do on your own.
बरोबर है.
Though not directly relevant to this topic, श्रमाची प्रतिष्ठा ज्याला आपण म्हणतो.
हो. श्रमाची
The dignity
प्रतिष्ठा.
of the labor.
Dignity of labor.
That we are not teaching the next generation. That is what is required. And if they learn these things, probably we would be having more matured, more committed towards society,
True.
and more responsible next generation than what we are having today.
Absolutely, sir. So we talked about, feminism. A lot of people get into these isms: feminism, Marxism, post-colonialism, radicalism, liberalism. But then I think the most important thing is humanism. Oh,
Correct.
so what is your opinion about this philosophy? If the
As I
world,
said-
you think the world will be a better place if we embrace humanism?
I think that is what I did mention about.
Correct.
When I expect from the young generation, next generation, as I said, excel in your field, whichever field you are. But most important is don't forget that you are a human being and you should treat other human beings like they
With
are
respect.
one. And that is what is important.
Yes. People may forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. This podcast has a lot of takeaways. I'm glad the viewers heard the icon, Dr. Deepak Mhaisekar, with rapt attention. Thank you for watching Matter That Matters.
Thank you.
This was Dr. Purnima Kulkarni, research scholar, author, and poet. Thanks.
Thanks.